Five Nights at Wario's is potentially my favorite FNAF fan game series. What I have to show you today is an example of why. I am the Gaming Olac, and this is the 9th Labyrinth, a FNAW experience. An expanded remake of one of 5 Shows at Wario's minigames, Safety Terror, taken from the theater and turned into a complete horror experience. This game was created by Jeb Yoshi and Number One Jenny, 2 massive creators in the FNAW space. Jeb being the creator of the Return to the Factory series, while Jenny is a composer of many different fan games, both also taking part in helping create the FNAW Deluxe series. Before we can properly appreciate the 9th Labyrinth, we need to understand what Safety Terror itself is, and why it is so good. Safety Terror, like the rest of the theater, is a short challenge that must be completed to gain lives to tackle the final show, where you fight a boss and need to use lives you gathered throughout the theater to not die.
Thank you for choosing Safety Terror Interactive Theater Experience. You are currently in an unknown location, but you are not alone. There are currently 3 entities roaming the building you currently find yourself in. They move freely in this building, which consists of 9 identical rooms. They can be anywhere. In order to finish the show, you must reach 3 specific rooms and turn their lights back on. Once all 3 rooms have their power back, the show is complete. You can see which rooms require this maintenance on the left side of your map. You can enter an adjoining room at any time, but you have to be absolutely sure the room is empty before you step inside. Thus, there are precautions that need to be made before proceeding to a new room. There are doors linking every room together. You can open and close any door at any time in order to open or block a path of an entity. Trap entities in rooms in order to make your path to the next room safe. Entities are by default unable to be detected on the map. They can, at this moment, be far away, or maybe in the room next to yours, listening to you getting this pre-recorded message through the wall. In order to calculate the safety of your environment as accurately as possible, you have a limited amount of equipment you can use. Spend them wisely, together with your map's ability to toggle doors, and move carefully through the corridors. This marks the end of this pre-recorded message. We want to warn you to not let the silence trick you. You are not alone here.
As you saw, the mechanics of Safety Terror aren't that complex, but how well you are able to implement them is important, because the more you're able to do with each tool usage, the easier the game becomes, something that Safety Terror uses greatly, and the 9th Labyrinth expands upon even more, leading to an exceptional experience. Before we get into the gameplay, I want to discuss the visuals. The music you've been hearing mostly up to this point is the menu of the 9th Labyrinth, a remix of the menu theme of 5 Shows at Wario's. I love this remake. It's amazing. But a good horror game isn't just good music, and especially not just good audio. It's also visuals. And the visuals are exceptional. As you can see, the game takes place in Grey City, a location relevant to the plot of the 5 Nights at Wario series, and is basically hell. Why are you here? Who cares? That's not important. But what is important is who's also here, and that is the enemies. In the 9th Labyrinth, there are 7 enemies. The virus versions of Wario, Waluigi, Ashley, Luigi, Peach, Yoshi, and Rosalina. Now, personally, I think that they look absolutely incredible, but as you can notice, if you ignore the rippling effect of the jump scare, they are a bit different to how they looked in, say, 5 shows at Wario's. That, of course, not being the same for Rosalina, because she hasn't exactly been an enemy, period, in Five Nights at Wario's. Outside of technically 2 examples of Trapped Within, a fan game by Epic TGO, and Rise of the Corruption by Nutel Games, though that one also had a different design entirely. With all this said, we can now truly talk about the gameplay. Safety Terror is, as you saw, a 3x3. It's a small area for a small little experience. The 9th Labyrinth is, quite fittingly, 9x9. And instead of going to multiple places, you go to one with 5 characters: Wario, Mario, Luigi, Waluigi, and Peach, the main enemies of Five Nights at Wario's 1. You get a rank determined by how many of them reach the exit and how many items you use to get there, but from what I see, you get S rank if all 5 make it, which you would think would be difficult, as you can see, only one character has those doors surrounding them. Everyone else who's not in the same room doesn't and will die if they are in the same room as an entity. You get a different amount of items for each character, along with a grand total of 8 doors. These doors are a little bit different from the ones from Safety Terror, and are the major difference. In Safety Terror, your doors, if not opened by the player, would open after a short amount of time. These doors will only open if you open them, or if a character enters the exit and leaves the playing area. Lucky you. The gameplay is not very complicated, as you can very clearly tell, but it doesn't need to be. Safety Terror was great as a little experience. I've seen this go on for 20 minutes. Overall, it's clear the 9th Labyrinth is an amazing remake of Safety Terror, and honestly, kind of makes me hope that 5 Shows at Wario's gets a deluxe remake that adds some of this flair to Safety Terror itself. With all of this being said, should you play Jeb Yoshi's and Number 1 Jenny's little spin-off? Well, I can't say if you should, that's up to you. But I think, as I have clearly demonstrated, this experience, especially for one made in a single week, is exceptional. It is exactly what I look for in a Five Nights at Wario's game. In fact, I dare say it's more than what you would expect. In Five Nights at Wario's, what I expect to see is interesting gameplay, great audio, and a very fun experience. You typically don't think of visuals, but as you've seen, they have, and it is an absolute treat. Five Nights at Wario's Deluxe was a great showing of what they can do with the time they need. But this goes to show that even on a time constraint, they exceed expectations. Now, with all that, and if you enjoyed this style of video, then I'm going to implore you to like and subscribe and all that fun YouTube stuff, because I'm going to make more, and you're probably going to want to see it. If you, for some reason, just enjoyed me, then I implore the same, because I'm not going to limit myself to just these. Regardless, if the next time I see you is in a week, or a year, or maybe even 10, I hope you enjoyed that video, and I hope you enjoyed this video. This has been the Gaming Novak, signing out.